Well, hello everyone. My name is David Leclerc. I'm the host of the ChUG podcast. I'm incredibly excited to be here with Melissa Leone today. Melissa, you're one of my favorite people on this land. I don't say this enough.
Oh,
That's true. We've met when I first got this position. We met while you were the sales rep at Fluidime,
yep.
trying to push our newly installed mass cytometer. I learned it tremendously from you. Uh, from there, from Fluidime, you moved to 10x Genomics, and then your career just powered through a whole bunch of uh, increasing ladders. Like, do you want to explain just a bit your career development and what
Sure.
you've been doing? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So I want to tell you, that was very kind of you to say. One thing that I've really loved doing throughout my career is I've always been on the commercial side, and I love meeting people like you who want to learn, right? And who want to do things differently. So it's always fun when you find that synergy. So, like I said, I've always been in commercial roles. So that's either as in sales or marketing in biotech companies. And what I really like doing is partnering with people and, figuring stuff out. So I did, like you said, I've been doing different things at 10X. I moved into market development for the Xenium spatial product. And after that, I went to a startup, and that startup, it was creating, still exists. It merged with another company, and I think they're called Cell Precision Systems now. It's a automated sample prep for single cell. And that was fun, but I had that was a VP role, and it was a startup, and it was as exciting as it was going to get. And I knew it was time because I wasn't so excited anymore. So that's why I took this role here at UIC to run this core facility where we're offering single cell spatial and next generation sequencing.
It's a new core, right? It
It
was
is a new core,
right.
correct? Yep.
Nice. Very nice.
Mhm.
Okay. All of these experience are going to be incredibly useful for our topic today because we're as I explained, Melissa, the we're in a weird situation in the world nowadays, and the research world has been hit with all kinds of cuts, and uh, this is the part of the discussion where we typically say we're not going to dwell into the politics side of it, but
Right.
we could, and the point is we could. Right. This is all man-made type stuff, and it's all stupidity, and
Yep.
but we don't want to be you know going. We don't want to sidetrack the discussion. So
Right. Right.
what I've been asked by my administration and what we're going to discuss with Melissa Leone is find a way to reduce my expenses by 10% or increase revenue by 10%. And this is basically an effort to control our budget and make sure that when the cuts hits, we're going to be in a better place. And so I think Melissa is an incredibly well positioned person to have incredibly meaningful insights about this whole situation. So, um, can we start with just like this is all going to go in the report? So all of this is basically kind of throwing ideas and try to convince administrators that the core facilities are very useful in this particular moment, like particularly useful in terms of saving money. And so there's a bunch of things we're not going to cover much, but like the general idea that like, yeah, the core facility business model is just the way to go right now. And you want to support your cores because if you don't have to buy like six flow cytometers to six different labs, then yeah, that's the core facility is what you're gonna. So all of these different ideas we're not gonna dwell too much into because it's kind of obvious.
Mhm.
The second point I kind of don't want to go into because it's pretty boring, but the idea of like increasing cost, increasing the price of the services is pretty, we've done it and it's, but like, um, I guess there might be the idea that depending on whether or not the direct and indirect costs gets changed in a way the new law will
Right.
ask us, but I haven't followed all that much. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. And yeah, we can fire people. that's out of the. We're going to assume that that's not that's an illegal
Okay.
move in this discussion. All right.
Okay, wait, let me make sure I got it.
Yep.
No politics, no talking about the business model, no increases in services, and no firing.
The business model. Well, I mean, the business model, just the idea, like, know, we know that cores but like if there's something about the business model that can be like that tweaked out and
We
something
can, okay. Okay,
that's
got
fair
it.
game. All
All
right.
right, I agree.
Sweet. And so the rest of discussion will hit two parts: reducing cost, increasing revenue. Let's start with reducing costs. And I'm gonna start throwing ideas at you, but
Okay.
if you have anything that comes to mind that you want to bring up, that's your cue to jump in. But the first one I had is, I think whenever you're forced to reduce costs, this is a perfect opportunity to get rid of legacy services that aren't
Yep.
doing anything for you, and you're just there to support like a few PIs or whatever. We have two of these at the CAT facility. We had a mass cytometer that we had discussed. That finally that finally I'm kind of true with mass cytometry. Not that it's a bad technology or anything,
Right.
it's just like expensive to run, and we just don't have the user base, and so
And flow's caught up, I
right,
think.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So it was useful at a certain time, but it's not useful anymore.
right, right, right.
Yeah. Agreed.
um and then the other one is we had antibody services for the
Mm,
history CAT facility. It's the flow core that merged with the antibody
mm.
producing core facility, and industry just got like faster, better at generating new targets, and so
Yeah.
antibodies for new targets, and then so we just didn't have enough clients, and then or the product quality was not on par with what industry
Yep.
could do. So both these things are out. um and we put a number on this, but the service, like not having a service contract on the mass cytometer, and basically reagents for both of these things. I got to, sorry, I'm looking at my page over here, but we're at 40,000, which is probably too much, but like we're saving
That's how much you
40,000 by
saved.
just closing these things is basically a bunch of money that we're not gonna spend
Right. Right.
on these services.
What was your revenue on them? Just wondering.
Both of them were probably below 5,000
Okay.
put
So
together.
you netted about 30 grand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The mass cytometer, we had one big project over the years, and we had a couple of users on campus that would run one sample every blue moon. And the problem is your tank of argon that you use
Yes.
is
Yes.
$1,000,
Yeah.
and so you burn it, and then basically you don't cover the cost. So you're subsidizing
Yeah.
research
Right. Right. You
essentially.
have to
It's not.
subsidize that. Yeah.
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 And the other one is basically there was no cost really, but like so few antibodies were being sold, so few service being offered that uh, at the end of the day, we our the service the staff member that is in charge of these things is planning on retiring in a not too far future, and so
Okay.
don't really want to continue with this.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So you don't have to fire that staff member.
No, no, it doesn't like retiring, and it's different things.
Okay. So let me ask you a question then. I don't
Sure.
know if this is the way you want to go. And I'm not so familiar, right? Because I'm new to academia,
Yeah.
but I think I know the answer. So now you have this instrument that you don't use anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process now? Like, it seems like you can't sell it to someone else to make money, and you
They
have to junk it, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I'm wondering, I get it. People are like, I don't even want to talk about it. Go put it in a closet and close the door, et cetera. Is there something that can be done differently to make use of this? And I know the vendors aren't going to like to hear this, right, either.
right.
However, talk to me about that, because that to me seems like a big miss.
Yes, yeah. So we're gonna hit the next point is actually selling an instrument.
Oh, okay.
So where we can let's bundle these two together. One
Okay.
instrument in my facility is a CytoFLEX that
Okay.
was given by another core and another core, another lab. They
The
bought the
lab.
instrument in 2019, ended up not using it much, and eventually they went, okay, we're just gonna give it to the flow core.
Right.
And in our hands, the CytoFLEX is a perfectly fine instrument, does the trick, but it's not. If you compare, like all these machines kind of compete with each other
Hmm.
for the attention of my user base. This CytoFLEX is just not doing. It's not as good as the instrument that have been there forever, like the Fortessa.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the Fortessa because, but the newer platforms offer things that the CytoFLEX can do, like it more easier of use and
Yeah.
spectral flow and stuff like that. So it doesn't really fit. It does not find its niche of users, so it's not being used. So we're thinking of selling it. So
Okay.
so back to your question. Now we have a mass cytometer and a CytoFLEX that we want to discard. And when you think of end of life, in my view, that you can basically take the instrument and take the parts to repair other platforms that are in your lab. So when we have a lot of beaten
Oh,
stuff, for example, we'll do that. I don't really care to like give away my LSR2s, my ARIAs, because I
sure.
constantly pick up stuff from them and repair the machines. Um, the mass cytometer, it's the only one I have. It's basically an instrument that is obsolete at this point. Even if mass cytometry might still have some gas in the tank, uh, there's the newer platform that came out that is so much easier to use. So you can't really sell them this particular Helios, which
Oh, you
is
have
like
the older one.
yeah.
Oh,
So it's so hard,
yeah.
not so hard to it's finicky. It's a problem. Like if you're gonna get into mass cytometry right now and you're looking for to buy an instrument, you're not gonna get like
Yeah.
the 5-year-old platform that's
Right.
super hard to
Right.
use. And so you're going to go to the new one. So there's no resale value. There's no way I can sell that platform to somebody else. You could think of selling it to another core facility that has multiple machines for they can get it for parts, but just it's the cost of shipping that instrument is probably not great anyway. So nobody really wants it. You can't really give it away
Right.
to
Right.
another place where they might want to go in mass cytometry, but they're like, we don't have the funds for. But again, it's just like I don't use it because the machine is so hard to use. So why would anybody else pick up that problem and make it their
Right.
own? Like it's just not. And so we couldn't find any home for our mass cytometer, and so it has to be recycled. To like it's basically
But is it recycled? Like what is I'm just curious. Okay, because I think about this, right?
right.
And places will pay you for good scrap metal or whatever, whatever. Is there something with how we discard instruments at again, because I'm new to this, right?
Right.
There has to be a better way than putting it in a closet, waiting till it's completely depreciated and then junking it,
Right.
where we could make money.
Yeah, the mass cytometer, my guess is no. Right?
And
Is
what do
it's
you do
just
with
like
it? You just,
we're even the junkyard that's going to pick up the instrument eventually when because like this was purchased by HIM, HIS, NIH funds,
yes.
uh, and that's a problem too because you can't really this is government money, so they want to be sure that like yeah you so anyway but even the junkyard people who are going to pick it up like they don't really want to pay for to
Mm.
them like the service of getting the instrument out of here
Yeah.
is good enough. So there's no we don't make any money out of this. So this particular instrument, uh, I don't see how to get revenue out of it.
Okay.
The CytoFLEX, like I have numbers. The instrument that's been purchased in 2019 at 174. The book value right now at the university is 78,000, and we got a quote for roughly anywhere between 13 and 18,000.
Okay.
So the book value and resale value are completely different, and it's generally like it's the same idea. Like you can't really like, would you buy an instrument secondhand from a random lab? Like if you even if you know me, would you buy an instrument from my, like, probably not. Like
I would.
you really want a warranty at least, or
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing we have to start thinking about. So I heard this thing today, and again, I know we're going down this rabbit hole.
sure.
But every time I keep pushing, 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 then we find little places we can actually move around. So that's why I keep it on going. Um, but there's this thing called a repair fair. Have you heard of these?
No,
Yeah. So I heard it on NPR. So you said no politics,
no,
uh,
fine.
but it was on NPR. And it says that a repair fair. So basically, it's a community, and they were interviewing this lady who had her sewing machine that wasn't working, and she was going to junk it. And then they brought the sewing machine, and someone showed her how to clean it out. Now she has her sewing machine. Blah blah blah. I'm wondering, is there anything we can do as the scientific community, the equivalent of this? Where, like you said, maybe this laser could be used for something, or maybe this part. And I know it's not technically saving actual dollars, but it's doing things right for the future and others. I'm not sure how you put a price tag, but there has to be a price tag for that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. The probably the best value for any of these instruments is for parts, and being able to repair the instrument
Yeah.
yourself with these parts without having to get a service engineer. Like the cost of servicing the instrument through manufacturers is probably the most expensive thing. Like it's
Right.
the second big ticket item in my budget. It's basically
Yeah. The service
so
contracts.
so
Yeah.
being able to like get the parts and get the know-how on how to repair things is probably the very
Well,
best way to.
and that's like, as we're talking, I wonder, is there some way, and again, we won't be able to have a dollar assigned to it immediately. It shows though that we're really trying to be good stewards of the equipment, of the environment, of, funding, et cetera.
Right.
Like what if we did a repair fair? We could even just do it here in the Chicago Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Hey, these are the instruments. Like, so for example, we're done with a one of those capillary electrophoresis. I think it's a 3730 XL.
Right.
We're not offering Sanger sequencing anymore.
Right.
And we just have to let it sit there and wait until it comes off the books, and then we're going to junk it. That would be nice for somebody else who has a 3730 XL to be able to use the parts. If we maybe did some kind of scientific repair fair, then maybe we could show how we got something from someone, they got something from us, and we save money that way.
Right. Are you aware of reapply?
No.
No, reapply is kind of like that. They basically it's more than just research, but they basically it's a service that it's kind of a, what's the name of this online like
Like a
it's
HeLa cell?
Craigslist, kind of a Craigslist for academia or really high.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's basically you just whenever you have stuff in your lab, it could be chairs, could be a bunch of tables, could be furniture, it could be, but it can also be actual scientific equipment, scientific reagents that are just dying in your lab, and you can put that on Craig on the reapply, and people can like search and find
So
stuff.
did you do that with your mass spec?
Yeah, nobody wanted no
Nobody
mass
wants
cytometer,
it,
nobody wants it. Yeah,
and nobody wants them.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Hmm. Okay. Maybe there's anyway, I know we're going down this rabbit hole, but maybe there's some way that undergraduates can use it in I don't know, physical sciences
Right,
lab and learn how to do this or something. I don't know. There has to be something that can be done with them because it just seems so wasteful.
right. Oh, absolutely.
But I know this isn't helping with your bottom line, so I say we move on.
Right. Okay. Um, just finishing up with the CytoFLEX, because you get 15,000 whatever, and then you don't have to pay for service and region.
Right.
The other thing that we're going to start talking about increasing revenue, and this is what's giving me pause on selling this machine, but um, I need machine to provide my service. We're selling essentially time on these instruments, and if I don't have, I'm basically saying I'm gonna get rid of potential source of funding to,
Yeah.
and so I guess at this point we're just gauging whether or not I it's possible to promote this machine in a better way and get people on it. And
Okay, so let me ask you.
Yep.
So are you worried about, because basically you're saying if you sell it, you'll get 15,000. So then you're at about a plus 45K, right?
Right.
Okay. So is it worth 15,000? So then we have to think of it like this. Does it, right now you said no one really uses it.
Yeah, we have two users, maybe $200 a month of revenue,
Okay.
whatever.
So then are you worried that if you get rid of it, what are you worried about then? You worried about throughput?
Yeah, basically get increasing my user base, my the demand on my instruments to a point where now I need another platform, need to buy a new instrument to cover that demand when I just have one right now that I could basically just sit on and
Well, why do you think that's going to change all of a sudden? If
all
it
right.
hasn't for so long, why do you like it's sort of like it feels like you have this ugly sweater in your closet that you're like, oh, what if I might wear it one day? I better keep it.
Yeah.
Like, like what I have to understand what you're really worried about.
Yeah, I guess my I think the usage is going to drop tremendously, but it could be also that the more expensive technologies are going to be hit harder and everybody will funnel their money to flow stometry because it remains a
Oh, I
fairly
see, I see,
cheap
I see.
option and so that
Okay.
might
I see what you're saying. So is there anything that this instrument, what's it called? The CytoFLEX?
yeah.
Is there anything that it's just like a no-brainer? You should definitely use it.
No. The only thing that so flow stometry we're moving with spectral, so back to mass cytometry. Spectral flow is what
Yeah,
made mass cytometry kind of obsolete-ish.
yeah.
But so there's a if you want to get a new spectral instrument, it's going to be 400,000. With the CytoFLEX, there's an option to add a. There's now an option to add a external module
Like a
that
module.
add on that
Okay.
as the spectral option for roughly 100,000. So it's basically taking my old instrument, adding a new module on, and then suddenly, hey, I got another
Mm.
spectral flow on my hands.
Okay. So as part of what you just said could sound like throwing good money after bad,
Right,
right? You have this instrument, you said you didn't like it really. It
right,
was harder to use. No one uses it, et cetera, et cetera.
right.
And so, but what you're thinking is if it could serve as your sort of like overflow instrument. And so pretend like I'm your client. Okay. Pretend like
Yep.
I'm a researcher. Hey, David, I want to do blah, blah, blah on blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what they would say.
Right. Blah blah blah.
And so I need to do, what'd you say? You got all that.
So most of my discussions are blah
Blah,
blah
blah,
blah.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so and you tell me, you know what, we're booked solid. I'm going to put you on this other instrument. That's what I want you to say.
Right.
So blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I would still probably not do that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's my
So that's
point. You're
mine.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's just so you have to be able to talk it through to someone like, hey, I kept this ugly sweater around because I figured I'd want to use it one day. So then I bought a pair of ugly pants that matches the sweater, blah blah. It's just not going to work out,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I think you're just honestly, I think your decision's made. You sell it.
Yeah. Cool.
And then
Done.
what you just do is you just have to tell people like, hey, this is really this service, everyone's moving back. What you just said, right? It's going to take a little bit longer, plan things out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay. Done with the CytoFLEX.
Yes.
The other idea I brought up is cleaning up our site license. This is very much like you look
Your
at all
what? Your
my site license
SITE?
software, all these softwares that you have to support the users. It's
Oh,
kind of like all these things that you pay your Netflix and your
yes.
Disney Plus and all these things,
Yes.
and then at some point you realize you don't watch any of them,
Yes.
and you're fine with Tubi TV, and so that's the same thing
Yeah.
here. What are the site license that you can get rid of?
And I think like again, I don't want to talk about politics, but I do think like I heard Pete Buttigieg talk today on NPR again,
Right,
and he was saying, I'm not saying that things should keep running as they are. there are definitely things that need to be improved. And I think something like that, what you're talking about, you're just reducing your operating costs. That should we should be doing that on a regular
Oh
basis.
yeah, yeah,
And now we're forced to, right? So I think it's actually a good thing, right? In this case, that you're forced to say, okay, you know what? I don't need to spend this. I don't need to spend that. And one thing we did is we have a brand new lab. I mean, it's not renovated or anything, just cleaned.
right,
The cleaning fee was $7,000.
yeah,
Had I known it was $7,000, I would have come in on a weekend and done it myself,
right, right,
right?
right,
And so it's like these kinds of things. So now when I ask for something, like there was a dust came down, I was like, I'm not even going to ask. I'm just cleaned it off myself, right? So I think that you're right about that, that you can put them in order, right? Like how much you spend. And then you go, whatever costs the most, start really looking at it and see if you have alternatives where you can cut costs that way.
yeah,
I agree.
cool. And the last one, not the least, there's a huge discussion going on, and it has to do with we were talking about repairing instruments yourself,
Yep.
but our core facility has a policy of not a policy, but like basically a entrenched practice of not getting service contracts on any of
Oh,
our instruments.
wait a minute. You said you don't get service contracts on many of your instruments, yet it's the second thing you spend the most money on every year.
Service the instrument is basically getting the engineer in, but we
Oh,
don't
like a
pay
PM.
for for the
Oh, okay,
on
okay.
the we pay as we go type thing, right?
Okay, okay.
Um, because a lot of repairs are not actual repairs; they're just cleaning your instrument in a way that improves the quality of the signals in a way that
I
makes.
see.
Sometimes it's just replacing filters,
I see.
replacing like parts, like the really simple parts. So we're going to try to get our service engineer whenever a laser burns out, like really big items. That's when we're going to spend the big bucks.
Okay.
Um,
And have you done the cost analysis? Do you save more money?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
been done in our facility. It's been done. It's been done. There's a person there's a colleague of mine from Montreal at the last Cyto meeting that presented her data at McGill, and it's yeah, you
Okay.
save so much by even if you do the PM only type
Yeah.
service contract stuff like that.
So wait, you've already done this, so it's not really a savings then.
Yeah. But
The
again,
status
we're
quo.
just sending that in a document that we sent to
Oh,
administration.
I
So it's
see.
kind of like
Yeah, something else I thought of, kind of going back to your point before this one, is when you were talking about services and subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. One thing that as we were transitioning, because there was a single cell pilot core that Paula was running, she had a workstation and she was storing people's data and until they published and blah blah. I was like, no. You know what? There's clouds now. You can put it on. There's
right.
so many options you have. And I think that cores spend a lot of money storing stuff for people, and it's not the core's responsibility.
No, yeah, right,
That's the end users. And she's like, I'm worried. What if their data gets corrupt? Well, that's their fault. They should have kept,
right.
and again, I always want everyone to do as well as they can. But I think that and I'm always very supportive and I don't want people's data to be corrupt. But you know what? At a certain point, you've done your part. Get that data off of your stuff because that can cost a lot of money,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Storing this in this way, storing that here. So I would say that's another big thing to say, okay, we'll have it for a week. And at your very first consultation to let people know you are responsible for your data. Boom, here it is. Oh, I lost my data. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Right. Like,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm sure that course can save a lot of money
Yeah, yeah.
by making sure of that.
We have our system at UFC is basically one where the data gets exported straight to a on-site server. But basically, automatically, the data goes to this specific spot on the hard drive that's monitored by the server. And whenever it sees some new file, just exports them, and then it's the user role or basically their responsibility to get back, go to the server, download their files, and from there they save the. And
And
so
so you don't pay for that service?
it's part of the OSRF, basically the overhaul and trading set of tools that are made available to us. But it does, to your point, it limits the size of the the requirement and size of the database that we
Okay.
need to have in order to. We just need enough to transfer
Right.
stuff around.
Right.
It turns out to be so big anyway that like I got stuff from 2012, but for other facilities that do like the sequencing, I guess, and
Yeah. Yeah.
imaging, they don't have that luxury that I
Oh
do.
gosh, no.
Yeah.
No.
So
Well, here's the other thing too. Like based on what you were saying, you made me think of something. How about managing inventory? If
mm,
if you can look at, because these are places where again, if we're trying to show management how we're saving money, we can look at, okay, look, we have these, I don't know if your stuff goes bad, right? But we're very careful and we've just put in a system to say, okay, once we get to this amount of whatever product, we need to buy it again and not before,
right.
right? And not wait too long so that we're waiting, et cetera. I think that could really help too, because there's a lot of stuff that goes bad, right?
Right.
Expires. Does that happen for you?
Not well, not so much for our parts, but like definitely if you're gonna deal with antibodies or any kind of like that, absolutely like any kind of assays that you make
Yeah.
available to your users. Is that the case with like when you deal with your I'm assuming you're using 10x genomics. You're gonna sell these reagents yourself, or you let the
No, we just do the work, but we have
right,
to have
right,
the products ready to go, and we kind of have to decide, okay, how many people are coming down the pike? How should we buy this reaction size or
right,
that reaction
right.
size? Because you want to have enough so that you're not like making someone wait, but at the same time, you don't want to have too much, and then you wind up things expire. But it sounds like you don't need to worry about that so much.
No, but it adds value when you think about cost of shipping. Every time you place an order, you're going to be hit by like a $50 shipping cost. Like if
Yeah.
you can organize your the way you order stuff in a way
Well,
that
maybe
does
maybe model that out. If we bought this number of times,
right,
here's how much the shipping would cost. We're going to buy this many time. We're going to consolidate, and we save this much money,
right,
right? That can be
right.
helpful.
Yeah,
That's a saving of
absolutely.
a money thing. There was one other thing you were saying that made me think about how you could save money. Um, but I can't. It's slipped my mind. Oh yeah, this is what it was. So the other thing is, so we've been talking with Stefan Green and
Okay.
with Alvaro, right? So we're UIC, we're talking with Rush, we're talking with University of Illinois. And we've decided in the sequencing world that we're not going to buy like Alvaro has the big instruments from Illumina. Stefan's getting he has some other instruments like complete genomics, something else, I can't remember. And then I have nothing right now, but in the event that I'm going to get something, it will be something that they don't have.
Right.
So then what we're going to do, and you're in the consortium as well, and I'm wondering if there's something you can do with Balaji and, oh, I forget her name at Northwestern.
Sushitra.
Yeah, Suchitra.
Yeah.
If we can all together as like we're kind of like expanding our reach,
Right.
and essentially what we're going to do is have it as a menu item, complete genomics, sequencing, blah, blah, blah. And they're not sending it to Rush. They're bringing it to me, and either I'll go there or my technician will go there and we'll do the work or we'll give it to him or whatever. I really think that's another good way for us to save money, where we will be essentially, you'll get a little bit of a, well, I don't know how that'll work. Anyway, maybe you'd get a tiny upcharge like for the processing and then blah, blah, blah. But that's all revenue you're bringing in without spending money.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So I think that's another smart way to do it. So maybe you check with Balaji and see if he wants this CytoFLEX, and then you send it to him when you see what I'm saying? I think that's a really good way to save money and we have a built-in system of redundancy.
Yeah. So stop being so selfish and try to like the money has been invested by overall like government funds or research like
Yes.
and so it's out and about and scrapping the instrument, putting it in like it's not helping
Well, and that's what
so
I mean
much.
is that like if you I don't know your world, right? But in my world, I'm never buying a complete genomics instrument, right?
Oh, really?
So what I'll do is once I learn how to do iLab, what do you use iLab?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, knock my head against the wall. Um, Once I know how to properly do all that, I understand exactly what it is that Stefan is offering, and that's going to make the most sense. That is going to be a line item in or items in my University of Illinois Chicago core facility. Bring me your sample, I bring it over there.
Right.
So it's helping, it's like the rising tide raising all ships. Why should I go and buy the exact same thing that he has or that Alvaro has? Right? Why don't I just make that just expanding what we can do?
Right. Right. Right.
That can bring in money.
Yeah. And on that same line of thinking, and this is where like I write that stuff in my report, and I'm not sure how impressive it is to the administration. But having you're talking about partnership, and I don't know your world enough to know where those samples are coming from. But if there's another core facility that needs to get involved to prepare the samples, and then they get sent to your core for data processing, and then probably they go to somewhere else for analysis in more details or whatever. Having that relationship between the cores well established and well written down, all the protocols well suited up, so that everybody that starts these projects, these kind of projects that are pretty new, nobody really
Yeah,
knows what they're doing. They don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You're there to
that's a
like
good
tell them,
point.
okay, boom, boom, boom. This is
Yep,
how you do
yep.
it. You know,
Well, it's like that guy, Ellie, who comes, do you know him? He comes to your
not sure.
lab. He does, he's at UIC, he's
Right?
in pharmacy. He
Okay.
comes to University of Chicago to sort
Oh,
his,
on the yes, 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 yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So see, like that guy, it's sort of like that for where you don't need to be in person actually doing it, right? Like in the event you have fixed cells or, DNA or whatever, whatever. All he would have to do is bring it to me. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I'll get you the results in a couple days and I
Right.
send it to you.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And I think like when you say it, they don't sound too impressed with that. I think you have to put real numbers to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the option. I could buy this $400,000 instrument, and then we can pay this for the preventative maintenance, and then we can make this much revenue, right? And then you project it out. Or I can go into iLab because I know how to use it. It only takes me 3 minutes, whereas Melissa, it would take her 3 days. But anyway, all I have to do is go into iLab and put in this service, and then we get the benefit of the revenue from the service.
Right. Right.
Like you literally have to show it to them. So there's a difference between spending $400,000 plus $40,000 or whatever the serve, whatever your preventative maintenance is, 20,000 versus nothing. And we're actually helping the community to publish, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I guess in my mind, I was thinking in terms of the amount of time is going to get a project to get going. So if you have the support of the core, you might get your data after a month,
Oh,
as
oh,
opposed
I
to
see
like
what you're saying. Oh, I see.
I
You're
I,
talking
I
about,
tried the same experiment 3 times. It took me 6 months,
oh, I see what
and
you're
there
saying.
it's hard to put a number though.
So basically, you're talking about, I misunderstood you. You're talking about speeding up the time to results.
Right, right, right,
And you're speeding up the time to results by being the one-stop shop to make sure that if anybody comes in with a project, no matter who it is, I'm just,
yeah,
who
yeah,
no
yeah.
who it is in the Chicago area consortia, no matter which lab it is that has it, I'm the one-stop shop and I'm the one who gets people going. That's a good point, actually. We'd have to figure out what, and I've been trying to do this too. It's hard, you're right. It's hard to give a hard number to.
Right,
But maybe there's some way that we can think. So I was thinking about this because Ellie was like, "Oh, I should have this done, whatever, whatever." I'm like, "Dude, you got to do sample prep," and of course it didn't work. And nothing was surprising, right? Um, but I wonder if what you can talk through is the number of repeats,
hmm
the how long it took to do, and give everything like I'm thinking of like a baseball average, right? Like you go up to bat and whatever,
right,
whatever, right? And it's hard to do.
yeah. Because we
But
don't. I don't know about you. I don't get that much feedback on stuff that doesn't work. I see people
From the
like,
customers?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, see, that's interesting. So as soon as we debrief after everything,
Oh, really?
whether it went well, whether it didn't go well.
Uh-huh.
And that's how we learn a lot.
Yeah,
So maybe we can use this with Ellie as an example,
right,
right?
right,
Because he has to sign up on the instrument. It turns out he has to change his fixation, da 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 da. And by us learning that with what he's been doing, the next person who comes in, we're like, listen, we've had that's why I do it like, well, I've just started.
right,
So I wouldn't say I'm like an expert on this, but that's how I always did it when I was in commercial roles. I want to understand what goes well, what doesn't go well, right?
right, right.
But I don't know how to quantify that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's write that down. Time to
Okay.
results.
I
Because
made
it's,
a, yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say in the commercial world, we think about a sales cycle, and it's very
Mhm.
similar, right? You talk to someone for the first time, and how long does it take until they actually buy something? And how much work does it take to have that sale occur? And then once they buy something and they have consumables, when do they buy again? So a lot of what a salesperson's trying to do is, speed up the sales cycle. So
Right,
we can kind of look at this from a salesperson's point of view, how to get people, it's the same kind of thing, get their project done, get their samples done, get the project done, make sure it was good. But I don't know how to quantify that.
right, right, right,
Aside from how, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I got to think about it more.
right. And it's also counterintuitive because you imagine a world where my users never fail their experiments on my instruments
Yeah,
and everything works from the get-go. I would
right.
lose revenue probably.
Most likely, yes.
So
That's a good
I
point.
don't know.
However, I think, and that's the other thing that I'm explaining that you have your bread and butter types of experiments, and then you have your like blue moon experiments,
Right,
right?
right,
And so, like in my world, I'm not sure how your world would be, but in my world, doing a spatial run is not your bread and butter,
right.
right? You do a
Yeah,
spatial and you get so much information and you analyze forever and this and that. And then, rightfully so, you go and do some kind of an assay, maybe flow or maybe some kind of functional assay, whatever. So we're also there. We have to kind of balance the those types of projects, right? Your blue moon ones and your bread and butter ones. At the same time, we have to make sure that we can serve the people who keep coming through. So we always have to keep getting new people through the door,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the thing I think about I know we're not on increasing revenue, but what I've been thinking about is how do we get more people through the door because and get them running experiments, the bread and butter experiments and the blue moon experiments, I don't care, right? But the more new people we have and the better we do for them, then even if I do think even if you get it going quicker, it might be a little lag, but eventually you'll get more revenue.
Right, right, right.
Do you agree? You've been
Yes,
doing this.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We're going to switch to increasing revenue. I just want to do a quick aside. We said we wouldn't talk about the business model per se, but there's value to point out that this is kind of a silly discussion. Like we're core facilities normally have to match the expense have to match their revenue,
Yeah.
which is I see core facilities the same way as I see public transit in the city. It has to be there,
Right.
and it doesn't matter if it covers its expense or not. Like it's so beneficial to the entire environment in which we live that like you really want to point out core facilities that offer services that are not particularly useful or not particularly run well, stuff like that. But otherwise, the general like your core, if you end up losing year after year, but all the publications that comes out of your facilities are tremendous.
Yeah. Well, I think
That's
it's,
that's the value right there. So
yeah, I think it's interesting the way you're going about this because I know baseball
yeah,
and I've been thinking about how do I figure all this out? So maybe that's even the thing. You get yourself a batting average, right? Like, okay, sometimes we strike out, sometimes we walk, sometimes we make an error, blah, blah, blah. But overall, we did really well,
right.
right? And I keep trying to think about that. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think the monetary value of your revenue is just one of many metrics, and
Right.
probably depending on the core, probably not a very useful one.
So
Most of
then what else? So before we go on though, then what
right,
else do you think? So it's like revenue, it's spend, right?
right.
It's
We're talking about the metrics of
publications.
a good core facility now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something about like this?
Uh, it's very much number of publications coming out. It's
Funding?
number of users, funding. What kind of in my case, I would definitely look at the level of usage of our instrument. Like, are we used at 80% capacity, or uh, you know, am
I
I
see.
am I bloated? Do I have too many instruments
Right.
for the stuff that we do and stuff like that?
So it sounds like everything that we're looking at is we're trying to get to break even, no matter
Right,
what it is.
right,
Revenue, spend, publications, grant funding, number of users, usage capacity. You want to just make sure that you're properly covering the potential
right.
without over. So like you having this CytoFLEX is just that's bloated.
Yeah, I think so.
So you
Yeah,
got to get rid of it.
right.
Versus if you start getting too much, you need another one. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Hmm,
that's my view at least.
yeah. And then, well, okay, no, let's move on.
All right. Increasing revenue. Um, I had selling instruments on my thing, and we already covered it. Um, the other one, there's basically two things, like increasing the actual number of people who are going to come in. But the other one I wanted to talk about before we get there is just an interesting tidbit that I picked up at Cyto. There's a guy from Penn UPenn, sorry. Derek Johnson's the manager of the flow core over there, and he had a presentation about they use iLab as well, and they let the users book their own time,
Yeah.
and they realized that people complain about lack of accessibility, and what they realize is that
Oh,
the amount of time that's booked
yes.
is way too high compared to
Right.
the amount of time used. And so what they did is charge 75% of any reservation. And so if you book 4 hours, use 30 minutes, you still charge
Yeah.
75%.
Good.
And
Good.
really quickly, within 2 months, you saw a spike in his revenue
Yes.
the first 2 months, and then people realized, oh, wait a minute, can't do that anymore, and revenue kind of came back down. So it's not a way to increase revenue for like a long time period, but like at
Right.
least you whenever you come turn around and ask for new equipment,
Yes.
you it's a machine that's going to be better used, better efficient use of that funding.
Yeah. That was smart of him.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
interesting.
so basically, when you say they book their own time, on another note, do
Yeah.
you charge people to teach them how to use the equipment at the very beginning?
We charge the training itself. The staff time is free. We charge for time on the instrument.
Can you start charging for the training?
We could. We
Would that
just.
increase revenue?
I just feel like the it. So we do that online on over Zoom. That there's a 2 hour class roughly that we offer, pretty much free. Anybody can register, even if you're not at UIC, you can access this training, because like I give it every other Wednesday. So it's not more work if there's 30 people or 10 people in the class. It doesn't really matter to me. The issue I have with offering, like paying for training, is that I really want my users to get the training.
Oh, they
and
might.
and,
But
and if
you could you could say you have to pay for this training. I know what you're going to say. Sorry, I interrupted you. But I don't know. I kind of feel like, again, I'm new, right? So
right,
I'd like to say everything that I noticed that all of you guys take for granted because you've been doing this for so long, that like the stuff I know and the stuff you know, it's really valuable.
oh yeah,
And we give a lot of it away for free.
oh yeah, yeah, Well, here's the trick. We don't, because like now I take all this time that I've prepared the material, presenting it, and I ventilate the cost of that into the cost of time on the instrument. And right, so I get the money either way. So the only people that I guess I subsidize the people who just show up
Yeah.
unannounced on, but like otherwise I do get money for that time somehow at some point.
Okay. So you feel good about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Because
see,
the
what they're,
alternative to like presenting a an invoice for a training is people will be either try to like get around it by, oh, I'm going to send one person and that person is going to explain the same thing to everybody else, but then it's the phone, what's the name of that,
yeah,
like
telephone game.
telephone game, you lose
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
or just straight up try to buy their own machine by saying, well,
Right, right,
you
right.
can access it or blah blah blah.
Okay. So let me ask you another thing then.
Yep.
So again, you won't be able to tell this immediately with rev increase in revenue, right? A lot of this is planning for increased revenue, some of the intangibles,
Right.
right? So if you, did you go to the micro credentialing session at ABRF by chance?
Was that last year?
Yes.
No, I did not.
Vegas with all the
I wasn't there.
okay. Oh, weren't you? Oh, I saw you the year before.
Right.
Okay. So these two women did this micro credentialing session. And basically, you know what that is? It's like a
No.
digital, I didn't know either. It's like a digital badge where you essentially, people can put it on like LinkedIn or whatever. And it shows that they completed a training to learn how to operate a Fortessa or whatever. And I wonder if you could kind of like raise your profile of what you're doing in these classes. And by getting a digital badge from University of Chicago's Flow Core,
Right.
right? And that's one way that you're doing marketing. And that's going to like raise your profile. And then people be like, oh, I have a micro credential from the Flow Core at University of Chicago, stuff like that.
Right. So we give that to our users
That completed the
that
course and they'd
completed
have
the
to do
course.
something. You'd
Right.
have to have them do like some assessment at the end, even real basic, like where is the lab located? How do you turn on the instrument? How do you
Right.
it? And then you put that in the micro cred. I really want to do this. I just haven't had any time yet. But you put that in the micro credentialing, like, they did this, 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 and then anyone can click on it and look and see, well, like when they go to get hired, for example,
Mhm.
somewhere, does this person really know how to run this? Oh, they completed this training.
Right.
David gave them this badge. So that must mean that at least at one point they really knew how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not bad because like I'm currently trying to hire somebody, and like you see flow time tree experience being described, but like what does it
Like,
mean really? What does it like? So
there's
yeah, that's a good.
There's a real good case for it. If you decide you want to do it, I'd be happy to work with you on it because I just don't have time. And if I
Right.
had like a accountability partner, like I really think this is the future, right?
Right.
There are these digital badges and the session was great. Um, it's just like a lot of work to start from scratch,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but that might be helpful. I thought of one other thing before I forget, about increasing revenue. Oh, I did forget. But it had something to do with what you were saying. Oh well, let's go on to something
All
else. And
right.
if I think of it, I'll tell
Well,
you.
I mean, the rest of the presentation is we need to increase our user base, and it's either the money for research will come from NIH grants, which are being shut down, or
Yeah.
industry people. And there, the question is, how do you attract these people, and how do you make them? Because like the core facilities are built around the research environment, right? So I'm better when I serve my own users, and whenever people come from outside, it's been historically it's been like really great or absolute disaster. We had people showing up and like they had no idea what we were doing, what we like the expectations were completely out of whack. We just ended up taking their money, but like nothing came out of it. So it's
Right.
definitely not something
Right.
you want to.
Yeah.
So how
So you're
we how so from your when you were in biotech, did you look at getting services from core facilities, or is not something
well,
that you would?
no, I think that that's exactly what it is because say my instrument were in a core facility, I benefit by it being used,
Right.
right? Because then we sell kits. So basically, salespeople, companies look at it in two ways. You buy the coffee pot and you buy the coffee, or you've heard the razors and the razor blades,
Right.
right? And then you have to do like that. So I wonder if what you can do is look at a 10% increase in revenue would mean I need to get 17 new labs doing projects 4 times a year or whatever, right?
Right.
If you can do something like that, so that's what you have as your goal. And then what you have to do, and nobody in science or core facilities likes to hear this word, you got to do marketing,
Right.
right? You've got to market. And so what I think for in your case, what your kind of marketing can do, and what, if I ran your kind of core, right? I would start to look and say, okay, single cell experiments are very expensive. Once someone's done a single cell experiment and I come from my world, right? So I think of everything
Yeah.
from my point of view. Someone's run a single cell experiment, someone's run a spatial experiment, whatever, whatever. Now I want to start helping people figure out how to choose which markers to annotate which cells and make a flow panel. So for their bread and butter experiments, they use me. So I think one of the things that there are many ways you can market, right? First of all, you have to figure out how many, like, what is your penetration, right? How many people are you serving right now? How many labs?
Mhm.
And let's say it's, what do you think? 40%, 50%, 80%? I don't know. Let's use 50 because it's easy. All right. 50% of University of Chicago's labs use the flow core. All right, let's look at the other 50%. Are these other 50% labs that could use the flow core? Yes or no? Okay, no, some of these do only physics stuff and they go to argon. They're not useful, they're never going to use my stuff. But there's another 25% that could. So now out of that 25%, why aren't they using me? Right? And so like it's all about doing the market research. You got
Right.
to understand. And then from there, okay, I figured out they're not using me because whatever it is, and now that's the marketing I'm going to put together. Or if you don't want to do all that market research, you could just say, I'm going to do a little seminar on how to start from spatial or single cell experiments, how to choose your markers to annotate your cells, and how we already have a panel ready to go, and how easy it is to run in the flow core or something.
Yeah. The to do your market research, you essentially have to walk around, talk to people, talk to PIs,
I think
essentially, or do you?
um, I think you can, or else what you can do is you can look at and I don't know how up to date these are, right? But
Right.
you could go department by department, right? Okay, like for example, which department at University of Chicago uses the flow core the most?
Right. Uh, the pathology, immunology, cancer research.
Okay, are
People.
those three different departments?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
More or less.
so pathology,
I've
what?
I've 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 very little understanding of the structure of this. So
Okay, so I would look up.
this is how you know I don't do the marketing.
Well, and that's exactly it,
Right.
right? Because this is not what people are comfortable with. And what in a biotech company, you have a whole group that does that, right? So basically, you have to do the low-hanging fruit. So technically, what I would do if I were you, I would look at and say, okay, who are my top users? Okay, like does Anita Chong use your lab?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, she's my friend. So
Uh,
I would be like, okay, Anita uses the lab a lot. I know she's in transplantation surgery. That's what her group is. I'm going to go look at all the other transplant surgery PIs and see if who else uses me. And then I'm going to see, oh, there are 10 PIs that don't use me. Next time Anita's in the lab, she probably doesn't come herself or her person comes in. I'm going to ask them, hey, do you know so and so? Do you know so and so? Do they do flow? Blah, blah, blah. Right? You can do it like that. And then you take your next user that uses flow the most and see what department they're in and go do the same thing. So
right.
the way I've always approached how to find somebody, because I want it to be win-win, right? As a salesperson, I want to win, or as the core director, I want to win, and I want the researcher to win, right? Then everybody wins. So if you have your people who are using you all the time, they're winning
Right.
and you're winning. Go find more of those kinds of people, right? You want to have people that have the same phenotype. that you're going to win and they're going to win, and you want to bring more of them in. So one way that you could do it is like, say, I'm going to do a targeted, and don't call it marketing because nobody in science likes to hear marketing. I'm going to do targeted outreach
Okay.
for users that fit this profile. This is our highest use. This is our user that uses it the most. They spend X amount. This one uses us the next most. They spend X amount. We need to get 6 more people just like this. And here's how I'm going to do it.
Sounds good. The big thing right nowadays in Chicago is that there's a booming biotech environment. A bunch of startups and
Yeah.
portal innovation is here. The idea is that they pay more for our services as
Yep.
external users,
Mhm.
and so my administration is like gung ho about trying to get these projects in.
Mhm.
Do you have any ideas on how you would reach out to these outside group? Because this is one where I, I don't have, I can't travel out of my lab to visit. I can't, so there's limited amount of things that I feel like.
Right. Are they at the park at the UIC park or at the
Right. I think it's West
labs
Loop-ish. Yeah.
at Fulton Labs?
There's
Um,
a, there's a, just so you know, there's another expansion that's opening at Hyde Park
oh,
in
okay.
the Hyde Park Labs, as we call. So,
Where is it? I'm just curious.
53rd and you know where Stan's Donuts is in Hyde Park? It's right there.
Oh, like in that newish
Yeah, yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's cute over there. Fulton Labs. So basically, by the way, there's a really good breakfast place in Hyde Park. It's called Dawn or something. Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Fab. Yeah, my kid took his driving lessons there.
nice.
Anyway, so I was there. I had to wait for him. Really good. I'll send you the link. Um, so again, maybe the best thing there, I don't know if they have any, what do you call it? Um, Group seminars,
Hmm.
right? If there's some way, there's 1, 2, 3 places. If you can find, if they do like maybe sometimes those places do like once a month a seminar. You could do a seminar about your services, how it works, blah, blah, blah. Um, you can also just look up, let's look up one. All right. Fulton Labs. Scalable life science lab space for rent.
Mm.
Does it tell us who's there? All right, let's try like this. Fulton Labs. Fulton Labs, Chicago list of companies. All right. It says here, key tenants include Portal Innovations, Xeris Pharmaceuticals, Charles River Laboratories,
Oh, all right, that's big.
Dimension Incs, Talis Biomedical, and Vanquia Bio.
Okay.
And also the Illinois Institute of Technology. Oh, see, that's another one we can look at. We
Yeah,
can see
yeah,
Illinois Institute of Technology needs something. So see, it starts there. So look what we could do here. And just like one Google search, we've identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 prospect. We call them prospects in sales, right? 7 prospects. So what we could do is you, me, Balaji, Stefan, Alvaro, right? We can put a little thing together like, hey, here we're part of the Chicago Bio Consortium that supports research. What do you need? Boom, boom, boom,
right.
right? And just in an outreach, we can make sure that people know that what we have here. And again, that's the other thing I think, like you just talking about your flow, me just talking about my spatial. It's fine, but imagine if we could, like you just said, like all of us as the big Chicago consortium, just saying, hey, we all help each other out. We all cover each other, blah, blah, blah. In this climate, we're happy to help. Here's what we've got.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That'd be pretty
It would
awesome. Yeah.
it would be pretty awesome. And I think we have to just do it and then ask for forgiveness, to be honest.
Right, right, right. No,
Right.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
The
you said you said
the
not a lot of people listen to this, right?
you know, it's not monetized yet. Uh I think the value has been demonstrated, like the external users, the industry users that we get in my facility are very pretty much always happy with the type of service that they get.
Yep.
Um, the other nice thing that I've noticed is how well your administration play with outside users. Like how easy is it to invoice to deal with the
Right.
paperwork?
Right.
If that can be streamlined, and so you don't have to, lose your invoice, blah blah blah. That's the other issue that sometimes I have is that I forget to invoice people and they get, they get stuff for
And then they
free.
get angry.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you have to, what you need to, from an administrative point of
yeah,
view,
yeah, yeah. Make
really
that
well-oiled machine, because that's what they care about.
right, right.
So researchers, and that's something that I've learned, and it's a good point you bring up, David, actually, is that when I first came here to UIC, right, and I've come from industry to academia, I was thinking in like hours, days, weeks, right? And now I've realized you have to think in like weeks, months,
Right,
years. It's
right.
a very different pace. And people in industry are thinking in hours, days, weeks, right? So you have to kind of like make sure that you can provide the level of support where it's basically crossing the T's and dotting the I's, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And part of that is just administrative fluidity and speed. That's a good point. So that's what, if we put this whole thing together, which I think we're going to do because it's brewing in our minds,
Yeah, we could. We
that's,
could.
we can, we can emphasize that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Hey, look, it's been an hour. I want to be respectful of your time. Anything
Cool.
else you need? You think we should bring up, or that covers our base in terms of
No, I think it's good because it's like we had good conversations,
yeah.
right? Like we weren't supposed to like come up with an absolute solution. But you know what might be fun is maybe in not hours, days, or weeks, but maybe in months or a year, we meet again
Oh yeah.
and see like
See what happened. Yeah, see where we are.
what we did with this based on this conversation. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be cool. Let's
Yeah.
do this. All right, Melissa, thank you so much.
Okay.
And to our listeners, do the things, click and subscribe, and send my kids to college. And we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me. It was great to be here.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right.